Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to our explainer on, well, arguably the most monumental sporting event on the planet. Today, we're exploring a deeply emotional, truly historical saga, the FIFA World Cup. Now, you and I both know this isn't just about a gold trophy, right? It's a story about millions of dreams, intense passion, and the legendary narratives that have literally defined global football for nearly a century. We're going to look at how, every 4 years, these countries step onto the pitch armed with absolutely nothing but their sweat, their hard work, and their absolute biggest dreams. So let's start at the beginning. Section 1, the beginning of the World Cup. Picture this. The year is 1930. The world is witnessing a tournament for the very first time that would eventually elevate football from just a game into an absolute global obsession. The first World Cup was played down in Uruguay, and the magic number here is 13. Just 13 teams participated in that inaugural event. I mean, at that time, absolutely no one had any idea that this relatively small, localized tournament would gradually evolve into the biggest sporting event in the world. But slowly, the identity of the World Cup grew. You started seeing these smaller teams occasionally taking down massive giants, proving that, hey, history really can be written by anyone. Moving into the mid-century, we hit Section 2, Pain and New Stars. Look at the intense duality here. In 1950, host nation Brazil suffers an incredibly shocking, devastating defeat right in their own home. That loss wasn't just a dropped match on a scorecard, it became one of the most emotional moments in football history, a true collective heartbreak. But now, what's really interesting about this part of the story is how quickly the narrative flips. Just 8 years later, in 1958, this young kid, a star named Pelé, bursts onto the scene and absolutely drives the entire world crazy with his talent. This kid shines so brightly, bringing a brand new identity to football and lifting the sport to a totally new level of global infatuation. It's just wild. Which brings us to Section 3, Magic and Great Teams. Because greatness takes different forms, right? If we zoom out to the macro level in 1970, we see Brazil's legendary squad acting as this flawless, unstoppable machine. Their brilliant play cemented their legacy, and honestly, they're still counted among the absolute best teams in the entire history of football. It was a masterclass in collective dominance. But let's zoom all the way into 1986, and the dynamic shifts entirely to the individual. Argentina claimed the title that year, and it was completely driven by Maradona's magical, downright shocking individual play. It just perfectly captures how the World Cup can be conquered by a flawless team machine or by a single, unbelievable spark of individual genius. Let's move to our next era and see how this builds. Section 4, Champions of the Modern Era. In the modern era, things really speed up. The power dynamics start shifting incredibly rapidly from tournament to tournament. France achieves massive glory by winning at home in '98, but Brazil, they snap right back in 2002 to show their dominance once again. Then, the game completely shifts. Spain surprises everyone with a distinct brand new style of play in 2010 that totally reshapes our expectations. By 2014, Germany executes a historic clinical victory. And then, immediately following that in 2018, a fresh, young French generation proves they can step up and rewrite the story all over again. Every single champion brought a completely unique pulse to the tournament's evolving legacy. Now, let's slow things down a bit for Section 5. A dream bigger than a trophy. And this brings us right to 2022. After a very, very long wait, Argentina finally lifted the trophy once again. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter so much? Because this victory wasn't just about the 11 players on the pitch. No, it was an enormous emotional release. It was the realization of the dreams of millions upon millions of fans. And that is the true scale of the World Cup. Entire nations holding their breath, projecting their deepest hopes onto the field, making the eventual triumph a deeply shared, massive, collective experience. Which actually leads us directly to the philosophical heart of our explainer today. You see, the real beauty of the FIFA World Cup is absolutely not just in the medal of the trophy. It lives in the unseen, grueling hard work of the players who prep for years behind closed doors. It echoes in the unwavering voices of the fans who stand faithfully by their teams through both crushing heartbreak and pure joy. And it exists in those fleeting, split-second moments on the pitch that are instantly frozen in time, becoming permanent history forever. It really all comes down to this. In 90 minutes, a team wins, but the whole world remembers a story. The crucial point is that every single match is confined to just an hour and a half of play. But the narratives generated within those lines, the triumphs, The heartbreaks, the brilliant individual magic, and that collective team dominance, those stories transcend the ticking clock. They literally last for centuries. So, as we look forward to the future of global football, it leaves us with one incredibly powerful thought to ponder. When the whistle blows next, what new story will the next 90 minutes write in history? Which new star will emerge? Which giant might fall? And whose dreams will finally be realized? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today. Keep watching, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.